And the last thing I'll share is about our media and how it has changed over the years and how more active it has become in our political process. That was one of the questions that you guys had as well, is the role of media. And the role of media has taken on a drastic turn. Sometimes it's good and sometimes I'm not sure. I believe our media has been complicit in the situation we find ourselves in politically, in terms of how they played a part in the information that was presented on Trump when he was running for president and Hillary when she was running for president. I think there was some gender bias there. I think there was a lot of leaning one way over another. And as a nation, we are suffering for that decision. So there's so many ways we can be given information now at the click of a button on your phone. Sometimes messages just pop up and lets you know what's happening in the world. And so we have more access now, but that doesn't mean that we're using it any wiser. And so my challenge to you as young people that are in an age where everything is technologically based, my challenge to you is that you use it to do good, that you take our media and you hold them accountable for what they're putting on the airwaves. You hold them accountable for what they're not putting on the airwaves. You hold them accountable to ensure that they're telling the truth, that no matter who is going to be impacted by it, we should be a nation of laws and a nation of people that believe in the truth. And so we have to force our media to do that. And so it's so many ways. We have the internet. We have all sorts of ways that we're there, through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok now, whatever's out there, ads on the internet. You still get your regular news on television and things. Cable news is now 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I think that has been the greatest demise to our democracy, is the rise of cable television, because it's not news, it's infotainment. They're there to entertain us and try to throw in a little bit of information, but it doesn't land properly. So we have to be aware of that as well. And so as you continue to grow and develop in your own ways, you have to think about, what are you going to do as a citizen? Once you're able to vote, understand why voting is important. Understand why the laws that changed voting has had a greater impact on certain demographics of people than others. And what is that? When you hear the words voter suppression, do you know what that means? And that, when you hear the words voter ID, do you know what that means? Do you know why all of a sudden people have to have a certain type of ID to vote? When you hear the word police brutality, what does that mean to you? When you hear the words Black Lives Matter, what does that mean to you? Where are you getting your information from? Who are you sharing your information with, so that you can make informed decisions about what is happening in the world? As you grow older, as you mature, we talked about political socialization. And who influences us first is our families, because that's who we're around the most. And then who comes next? School. Who comes after that? Probably church, and where you spend time at, whatever religion that is. And so all of those things play a part in who you are and what makes you you, and what makes you unique in this time. And so as you go through this, you will learn more about who you are based on your experiences that you have. And I just challenge you to think more, to ask tough questions of yourself and of those you know, to challenge racism wherever you see it, to challenge sexism wherever you see it. And if you're not sure, ask. If you say something and you're not sure if it was offensive, ask. If someone tells you that what you just said or did was offensive, acknowledge them in their space and then try to do better the next time. And so there's a lot of programs you'll see in the next couple of chapters that you saw in the next chapters on our social welfare policies, why these were put into place during the Great Depression. States could not take care of the people because it was such a high unemployment rate. So the government had to step in. And we're kind of there almost now with the high number of unemployment, which has a lot to do with the lack of care that people have received as it relates to COVID-19 and the pandemic we find ourselves in. And so we can get out of this situation. but we have to put in the work, and it's not going to be easy, and we have to be able to do more than one thing at a time. So as much as we're concerned about the virus and COVID-19, we are just as concerned about whether or not kids will be able to go back to school in the fall or the spring or any time in the near future. But we're also concerned about the unfair treatment of excuse me, of Black people, primarily by the police. But we're also concerned about the continued addiction to drugs and alcohol. But we're also concerned about whether or not districts are receiving the right kind of funding that they need to provide you with some after-school care, after-school programs, to provide transportation in neighborhoods that need transportation. But we're also concerned about whether or not our environment is safe, the food we eat, the water we drink. So we don't have the luxury of being a one issue person. Oh, I'm just concerned about one thing. There's a lot of everything I said, I am directly impacted by it, one way or another. And so I don't get the luxury to sit on the sidelines on any of these things. And so you have to make that determination and that decision for you where you're going to go moving forward. And I hope that this gives you some insight and gives you a little bit of direction as you move forward in your high school career. I hope that it gives you a little bit of spark and gives you direction on how to talk to your friends and family about what's happening in the world today. Our government needs us as citizens to hold it accountable to the thing that it said it was, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal. So if we're all created equal, then let's start treating each other equally. I hope you've enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. And reach out to me if you need to. Thanks.